Hello, and welcome to the Reselling Report for today, Friday, May 29th, 2020. I'm your host, Ann Eckhart, and every weekday morning I upload the Reselling Report here to YouTube to update you on the day's retail and e-commerce news, including the latest from eBay, Amazon, Etsy, and Poshmark. If you haven't done so already, I hope you'll subscribe. And now let's get on with today's show. Well, happy Friday, everyone. Here we are at the weekend. I know for most resellers, that means a weekend of sourcing out at thrift stores, if they're open in your area, garage sales, if they're going on in your area, church sales, estate sales, again, if they're going on in your area. In my area, there is one charity sale going on for Habitat for Humanity in a church. Normally, that'd be something I'd be all over, but in this age, especially when they haven't said that they're taking any precautions requiring masks or doing social distancing. So that's a skip for me. I will not be going out to source until I feel that it is safe. I have neutropenia, which is a immune disorder, so I don't have an immune system to speak of. And I have an 88-year-old father who lives with me, so I have to be extremely careful about potentially bringing the virus home, catching it myself, getting sick. Who's going to take care of my dad? My dad getting sick? I can't even think about it. So for now, eek on the sales. But I know some of you are able to go out, again, being safe. I did want to talk about an article I found over on marketplace.org. The other day we talked about staying safe when you are out at garage sales, and this is an article titled How People Are Managing Yard Sales in the Age of Social Distancing. So this article reads that Memorial Day weekend, past weekend, is the unofficial kickoff to summer, and along with all the pastimes of summer are garage, yard, and stoop sales. Oh, a stoop sale. That must be in the cities where people live in those lovely, brick homes with the stairs out front. That we don't have those here, but I love a stoop sale. Anyway, but how will those sales look in the age of social distancing? For Renee Translater, a Pittsburgh resident, pretty much every summer weekend is spent sourcing yard sales for toys and figurines. But this year, because of COVID-19, I think that yard sales are a little bit too close for comfort. There's always going to be other people there, and I don't feel comfortable handling items that other people are handling. As states reopen, health departments are coming up with guidelines for yard sales to prevent the spread of COVID-19. In Vermont, no more than 10 people should be at a sale. In Ohio, the merchandise must be washed and dried or wiped down with a disinfectant. Hand sanitizer has to be available, and tables and chairs should be set 6 feet apart. Kat Holmes, who lives outside of Cleveland, had a 3-day yard sale that ended Saturday. She wore a mask and gloves and put arrows on the ground to guide people. It actually worked out. When people were snaked around, they started in and they exited out the last row, and Holmes profited around $500. Donna Tauber, who lives in Indiana, helps organize the National Historic Road Yard Sale, where hundreds of vendors along Route 40, known as the Main Street of America, sell from Baltimore to St. Louis. Because unemployment is so high, we know that people are going to want to make some extra cash fast by having a sale, so there may be more sales. This event is usually held this coming week, but it has been postponed, and organizers may try to hold it in August. So our city hasn't put out any regulations about garage sales, but at the same time, nobody's having them. I mean, maybe they are and they're not advertising where I look, but people are still being very cautious, I feel, in my area, even without the direction. The estate sale companies, there was an estate sale a couple weeks ago in a home. I did not go to that. Another company here has a building, and they're going to have an sale built at their building coming up here soon. And I'm sure they're very, very careful, and they're very professional always with how they do things. So I would assume that they will probably be implementing some distancing. I'm not worried about touching things that other people touch within reason, because they are now saying that transmission of touching things isn't where you're really going to have a problem with the virus, as long as you're not touching your face and you're washing your hands regularly. It's that airborne. So you sneeze, you cough, you talk. You're not wearing a mask. All those particles go out and they get into somebody else's mouth, nose, eyes. That's the main form of transmission of the virus. It's still important to wash your hands. There's been a lot of talk about gloves. Like I said the other day, if you're going to wear gloves, you're going to want to change them out and throw them away. And that can be difficult because then you might be contaminating another part of your skin, taking the gloves on and off. It's really better. Skip the gloves unless you can safely remove them, dispose of them, and put on a new pair every single time. And instead of the gloves, use hand sanitizer in between everything and wash your hands. My car is loaded with hand wipes and hand sanitizer. I could be in the line at McDonald's and just after ordering through the drive-through window, I haven't even talked to anybody. I'm already like hand sanitizing just from opening the window. So those are the best ways. But yeah, let me know if there are garage sales in your area or stoop sales and if you're hitting any this weekend. If you sell on Amazon via FBA, Amazon has just posted on the seller forum announcing the enhanced, expanded FBA new selection program. Beginning in March 2019, we offered free monthly storage and removals for new to FBA ASINs to make it easier for you to sell new products through FBA. Based on positive seller feedback, we have enhanced and expanded the FBA new selection program. We have increased the number of new ASINs that can qualify for benefits up to $500 per seller per calendar year and added limited free return processing in select product categories. Professional sellers with no inventory storage limits can qualify to get the the program's benefits. And then it has links here where you can see your qualification. Participation in the program is not affected by the recent restrictions on shipment creation to prioritize essential products. The benefits of the program are free monthly storage and free removals up to 500 items, free return processing for 5 product categories: apparel, shoes, handbags, and accessories, jewelry, luggage, and watches. Discounts on shipping, and then more about the eligible ASINs. So I think this is more for the larger scale sellers on Amazon, but if that is you, maybe there's a little bit more benefit, a little bit reduction on the fees, because we know Amazon fees are insane. They're the worst of all of the sites. You sell the most on Amazon, if you know what to sell, obviously, via FBA, but the fees are killer. So it's definitely a high volume reselling strategy that you need to have. But there is that for those of you in FBA. Well, happy birthday to Poshmark Canada. Poshmark Canada turns 1. And Poshmark has put up a report about Poshmark in Canada over on their Posh Life by Poshmark blog. I always get a little tongue twisted there. Since launching in May 2019, Poshmark has built a vibrant community of over 1 million Canadians across the country who've collectively listed, not sold, listed, over 100 million Canadian worth of inventory. The Poshmark Canada community is creating inspiring side hustles and full-fledged businesses while also helping to accelerate the circular economy. So they have a post up here that shows the map of Canada where the sellers are coming from. Looks like Central Ontario and Quebec have a 56% share of the Canadian Poshmark sellers. We've got 164 million items shared by the Poshmark Canada community. Good grief. 30 million items shared to in-app Posh parties. 1.3 thousand people connected across the country at events, and 60 events, both virtual and in real life. Now, where does it say how much people are making? That is what we're not getting here, Poshmark. You're saying what's been listed, but what have people actually made? Also keeping in with Canada, the Posh Life by Poshmark blog has hashtag Poshmark Canada turns 1 PFF edition. And to celebrate Poshmark Canada's first birthday, they have some PFFs, Posh Friends Forever. Oh, doesn't that bring a tear to your eye? It's so sweet. PFFs who met this past year, and they are interviewing sellers who have met each other at events and are now apparently PFFs. Will they still be PFFs if one sales outrank the other? I don't know. Is it PFF? You're PFFs as long as you're both in the same boat. Seems in the reselling community, somebody starts to get ahead and you're no longer PFFs anymore. But anyway, that's just my little editorial comment on that. But happy birthday, Poshmark Canada. and to those of you who are selling on Poshmark, wherever you may live, America or Canada. The coronavirus pandemic has definitely changed what some sellers are selling, specifically clothing. It seems like collectibles, decor items are doing the same, maybe even a little better now, but we are always looking for what are the hot in-demand items right now. And according to an article on CNN Business, Starbucks mugs and tumblers are in hot demand from bargain hunters. Now, flipping Starbucks mugs and tumblers, this has been around forever, but this is interesting to see this article. It reads, forget Gucci, Chanel, or Louis Vuitton. It's Starbucks that's emerged as a hot brand for bargain hunters. Shoppers in the past several weeks have flocked to popular resale markets such as Poshmark and OfferUp to score mugs, tumblers, and cups bearing the Seattle-based chain's brand. Poshmark CEO Manish Chandra said a pandemic triggered nostalgia for Starbucks drinks, and the Starbucks experience had made it the #1 trending brand on the site. Okay, now I don't mean to pick on Poshmark here, but they just put up a trending post this past week that they then reposted showing the jewelry and clothing that's trending and hot. I have yet to see them publicly say on any of their platforms to look for Starbucks, but okay. Let's read on. While people can get their Starbucks coffee to go at drive-through windows or through delivery services like Uber Eats, consumers haven't been able to partake in the daily in-store experience of waiting in line, interacting with their favorite barista, or perusing, the latest display of seasonal tumblers for sale since March. Starbucks shut its online store in 2017 and sells its merchandise only through its retail location. People have been making their coffee at home and pouring it into their favorite Starbucks cups, or taking their Starbucks mugs to their Zoom meetings or now virtual coffee meets, Chandra said. Sellers are pitching everything from official Starbucks merchandise to items like mini Starbucks coffee cup earrings or even a Starbucks pumpkin spice latte hair scrunchie. The demand for all things Starbucks didn't erupt overnight. Poshmark said that it's been building since the mid-March shutdown. The resale site said orders of all kinds of Starbucks mugs and tumblers, new and vintage, have increased by more than 100% since the pandemic was declared in early March. A Starbucks spokesman said the company is aware of its mugs and cups selling well on resale platforms, but continued to comment further. Not all Starbucks items are bargain priced. Several recent listings by Poshmark sellers are of the new seasonal tumblers like the recently launched Iridescent Collection or the Confetti Cold Drink Tumbler featuring a color-changing pattern. Such items are priced at significant markup, between $15 and $65 or higher. Searches for Starbucks mugs, cups, and tumblers have been actively popping up on OfferUp too. The company said its color-changing cups have radically climbed OfferUp's trending search lists and have frequently been among our top 10 fastest-growing search terms during the past week. So I personally feel this is a little misleading. We all know, or most of us resellers know, that when Starbucks launches a new product, there's a hot demand for it. Bigger cities, things sell out, and people who collect these or just they want to be trendy, they want the item, they'll turn to the reselling sites to get them. So it's not surprising that the new releases are selling well, but to see that maybe the older mugs, because that was the thing with the older mugs, they used to be no-brainer. Get a Starbucks mug. They don't sell as well as they once did. They used to almost all sell. Of course, there are ones that sell better than others, but also these little Starbucks crafty items that people are making, earrings and scrunchies. But yeah, let me know. If you sell Starbucks items, have they been selling better for you? I have some mugs that I actually pulled because I was going to take to the consignment store because they were sitting in my eBay store for a while. But maybe I need to dig out my consignment store bin and have a look at those if they're such a hot item. Although, when I was at Target the other day, the Target Starbucks was open and you could get all of the products there. So while the standalone Starbucks are not all reopened yet, I think for a lot of Target stores and maybe Barnes & Noble, they are open. So it's not really that hard to get Starbucks items now as it maybe would have been even a few weeks ago. Here on the show, we've been following all of the retail bankruptcies, store closures. There is an update on Jcpenney over on CNBC.com announcing that they are going to kick off store closing sales in June. And The liquidation deals are on their way. The article reads, Jcpenney is planning to kick off a round of store closure sales as soon as next month. The department store chain, which filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection on May 15th, plans to find a store closing procedure motion for June 4th for a hearing set to take place on June 11th, at which point some sales will begin. And then on July 1, a smaller second phase of store closing sales will commence. A list of Penny's locations set to close over the summer could not immediately be obtained, so we shall see. You'll find out if the Pennies in your area are closing. Liquidation sales at department stores are always tricky, and we've talked about this before. First of all, they'll send the good merchandise to their other locations. They also work with liquidation companies directly. Typically, what's left in the store to source ends up not being that great, and you want to be very careful, especially with a store like Jcpenney. If you are going there to source for resale, their regular prices are jacked up because then they're constantly on sale. So you want to be really careful. Typically, with retail arbitrage type sales, I wouldn't even look at it if it wasn't at least 80% off. But at a department store, maybe 90%. So just be careful if you start to see Pennies having liquidation sales in your area. Now, if you're not looking for items to resell specifically, you can see if there are items for your business, such as mannequins and storage. When our Yonkers closed here, I went in one day and they had a ton of giant bubble wrap rolls, and I was able to get some of those. So there might be some other things that you can look for your business. But we'll keep an eye on Pennies, and hopefully soon we'll get a list of stores that are closing. I think in Iowa, there are only, in my immediate area, there's probably like Cedar Rapids has a Pennies. Des Moines, Coralville, I'm not even sure. So we'll keep an eye on Pennies. Another sad retail store story is Tuesday morning. Again, this is on CNBC website. Tuesday morning is about to close 130 stores. Tuesday morning is first seeking court approval to shut at least 132 stores. It has roughly 700 locations as of its bankruptcy filing on Wednesday morning. And Tuesday morning said it plans to exit Chapter 11 with about 450 stores. So there's a map on here that shows the ones that are closing. In my area, they have Marion, which is around Cedar Rapids, which is super sad because I haven't been to that store in ages, but I would go in there, and I used to source at Tuesday morning. We had a Tuesday morning in my city for like a year, and then they tore the building down to build a Texas Roadhouse. Now, look, I love a Texas Roadhouse. Don't get me wrong, but I miss Tuesday morning. It was a good place to source for eBay. But they announced that they are filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection, and it's just another casualty of the coronavirus outbreak. Of course, Pier 1, Jcpenney, lots of businesses going into bankruptcy. Now, just because a store is filing for bankruptcy doesn't mean they're done. They're looking for bankruptcy protection, which will help them with their debt. So it's just, another issue. I don't know if anybody else sources it Tuesday morning for resale. You can let me know below. But this story, along with all the articles I mentioned, will be linked in the show notes below the video. So if you have a Tuesday morning in your area, you can head on over, look at this map, and see if yours is on the initial list of stores to close. And finally today, there's been a lot of concern about what reselling will look like with a down economy. And as we've been discussing on the show, when the economy is down, reselling goes up, and not just online, but also at thrift stores. There is a new article over on the Lima, Ohio site. So I guess Lima, Ohio is a city, but it says when economy goes bust, thrift stores boom. And I'm going to share this with you because this is pertinent to everyone, whether you sell online or locally. Obviously, it's focused on thrift stores, but reselling in general and secondhand goods and bargains and deals do much better when the economy is down. So this article reads, for nonprofit agencies that operate thrift stores and similar businesses, there's one constant. When the economy is slumping, their sales skyrocket. In what is widely seen as a national economy crippled by the COVID-19 pandemic, business currently is booming at local thrift stores as residents are eager to get out of their homes in search of a bargain. Angie Patterson, manager of a Putnam County Goodwill store in Ottawa, said that in her 2 years at the agency, she's not seen anything that even closely resembles the volume of traffic seen inside the thrift store after nearly 2 months shut down because of the virus. It's amazing. Our numbers have doubled in terms of sales since we reopened May 12th. I've never seen anything like this. People want to get out and spend some money. Donations are also up at the store. You can tell people have been cleaning out their homes during the shutdown. Donated items brought to the store are taken to a large room where they are sprayed real good. Sprayed real good. That's a quote. With disinfectant before employees go through individual bags in preparation of stocking the store shelves. Then the items all get cleaned again. Be aware of that sanitizing, disinfecting stuff they spray. I personally have an allergic reaction to it. Look, I'm glad they're spraying it. Don't get me wrong. But just be aware that if you realize your store or bins are spraying things, yeah, it can cause an irritation. The article goes on to say donations are through the roof. When the economy is strong, donations are up and sales are down. However, when it's a slow economy, sales are up, but there are fewer donations because people are not replacing stuff as frequently. Inexplicably, both donations and sales are running high right now. Rhodes on Wednesday said sales at the agency's thrift stores are up 22% from pre-COVID levels, following a 7-week shutdown due to the virus. Donations have also been so plentiful that the store twice in the past few weeks has been forced to temporarily suspend them due to a shortage of storage space. People were stuck at home and were apparently doing some massive spring cleaning. Donations are currently being accepted again, and all items brought to the store undergo a quarantine period. So the article does go on, but I just thought it was important to note for those who've been concerned about reselling and secondhand, this, unfortunately, with the overall economy being in trouble, and it's going to be that way for a while, reselling is going to be on the rise because people are looking for a deal. That being said, if people start getting more frugal with donating items, you might run into a sourcing issue. So as always, source when you can, especially now. If things are plentiful, it's a really good time to stock up. If we do have a second wave of the virus in the fall or winter and things are shut down again, you want to be prepared. Summer is prime sourcing season. So if you have the capital to invest in inventory, now is the time to load up as much as possible. Even if there wasn't a virus, you would still wanting to do that to stock up in anticipation of fourth quarter. And that is a wrap on today's show. If you liked it, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and leave me a comment. Greatly helps with YouTube's algorithm. So even a smiley face, emoji, and hello, it really, really helps. You guys have been doing that. I so appreciate it. Check out the show notes below the video for links to the articles I referenced. You can email me your questions or reseller stories to be shared on the show. My email is also below. And if you want to learn how to make money on eBay the way I do, check out my Amazon store. It's the first link below the video for all of my books, the books I write under my name about how to make money on eBay, on YouTube, and then the journals, planners, and notebooks I publish under my Jean Lee publishing name. All of those are in my Amazon store, along with my reselling supplies. Thank you so much for listening. I will talk to you again on Monday. Have a great day and a great weekend. Bye.